Hey everybody, welcome to a general wrestling discussion on Aftermatch Wrestling. I'm the General Jerry Slaughter. With me as always, Stefan Osborne. Stefan, how's it going this evening?
It's going good.
We're running a little late.
Difficulties.
Yeah. It's not even technical difficulties. Steak and Shake took fucking forever.
Well, that too. Had to eat while setting up.
Yeah, so we just figured we'd do an extra broadcast this time around just to touch on some issues that are going on right now in pro wrestling, and also open up a Q&A to just openly discuss what's going on. The main topic, I think, for this evening so far is the occurrence over this past weekend with Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if we should start first with that or end with that. I want to start with you guys. I know Colin wants to get up on the big screen, but we want to leave the Skype open for everybody to call us. So if you want to call in and talk to us about a subject of your choice,
Yep.
Find me at Stefan Space Osborne, or it's probably under Stefan R Osborne at Google or at gmail.com, one of the others. Or give me yours down in the chat room, and I'll see if I can find you and add you.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna go find which one is it? There it is.
We have our first call. Calling Andrew.
Hello, sir.
And our background has shown up. Look at that. Look at that shit.
Yep, there it is.
That's straight fire.
Straight fire.
How we doing?
Not bad, Colin. How you doing this afternoon, evening, whatever time it is at this point?
Oh, dude, I'm good. I'm good. It's nice to see a live stream on a Tuesday. I'm not gonna lie, boys.
Who'd have thunk it?
How are we doing tonight?
Not bad. I'm full now.
Stale fries.
Yeah. So, what topic did you bring to the show, sir?
Well, I want to talk about what's going to be happening with NXT UK.
Okay.
Because this is extreme Jeopardy, in my opinion. It's been how many weeks with nothing going on with all these travel bans, etc. Like, I am just kind of worried as a fan of the brand, for the brand.
Well, it's actually a pretty good concern, especially since I know Vince is probably still not high on NXT UK. He's barely even high on NXT in general. So, like, if he could actually just liquidate his assets there, he probably will too. And that means a whole bunch of the British wrestlers that we love aren't going to be seen on NXT or NXT UK.
It's an expendable brand, but I don't know that Vince McMahon necessarily owns it. I would think that Triple H put his money into it, and it would be his property to dissolve if he decided to do so. I don't think he would. I think Triple H is foresighted enough to ride through this. England is not going to lift their gathering restrictions quite the same as the U.S. is gonna. Obviously, Vince McMahon has his hands in government in order to get his product on the television even without a crowd. I mean, there are links that he will go to in the United States to keep his show, but I don't think there's much he can do overseas. Being an expendable brand, I could see it folding, but I could also see it weighing through the storm, and the first sight we have of a possible crowded show, and it will be one of the first events held in the UK somewhere.
Oh, it'll be Dublin.
I mean, I'm really pulling for that. I really, really am.
Meanwhile, there's nothing can be done. I'm hoping that soon there will be the ability to fly guys like Jordan Devlin and Walter over here and at least put them on TV on NXT. But in the meantime, I mean, even just down to the way that they do their shows, even if there is a ban lifted, like, are they going to be able to do 6 hours worth of programming, 8 hours worth of programming in one shot on one week? You know, like, we'll have to see. Is it dead in the water yet? I don't know. I don't want to call it.
I don't want to call it that either. I just have general concern because I know other countries are not going to be, doing things like we are here in the States, and, especially why things are the way they are with, certain champions and yada, yada, yada in WWE right now. And, I just feel for it because we have, as a unit, as the NX team, as, what is it, the Black and Gold and Union Jack, or
Golden Black and Union Jack.
Yeah. And, as Jerry used to say, we've, invested a lot of time into the NXT UK product. And as a fan, like, literally it goes NXT, NXT UK, Raw, SmackDown. You know what I mean? Like, on my list of ranked, quote-unquote, shows. So, there's a lot of good talent in NXT UK, and there's a lot of not-so-good talent. But you can't cut that not-so-good talent and still expect your top talent to thrive because they're going to have no one to work with.
Yeah.
No one to put them over.
So
have nothing but matches between people that should be getting pushed, and somebody's got to lose.
So if for some reason NXT UK were to fold, do you think they would take maybe some of the people from there and put them in regular NXT?
Before it folds, somebody will get on a plane. They will fly the entire fucking roster to Florida, and they will start doing those shows in the Performance Center or at Full Sail.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just start doing NXT UK shows in the US, and that'll be. I mean, if it's all you can do, I'd rather have that than nothing. I mean, we have personal stakes here. We have a show that we do based solely on NXT UK having fresh content.
And it rhymes.
We have been fucked without rubbers for 5 weeks, and we no longer have something to do. Now we have to cover just general wrestling. What have we devolved to? We're talking about Alberto Del Rio, the sexual predator.
Oh, and Becky Lynch. We'll talk about her in a little while too.
Well, I mean, it's sad. I mean, hopefully it doesn't come to the part where the brand folds, but I do see the top talent coming to NXT for sure. Your Walters, as much as I don't want to say it, your Toni Storm, your Kaylee Ray. Like, I see the Wolfgang and the rest of Gallus, Ilya Dragunov, all those guys coming over to the NXT roster, but it's just something I really don't want to think about, but I feel that we need to think about right now because it's been what, like, how many weeks now?
5 weeks without fresh programming.
And you got to think everything that we watched with a crowd was taped how many weeks before that? So, it is what it is. Title-wise, I don't know what would happen if it fold. Like, we would have unification matches, you know what I mean? Like, NXT versus NXT UK unification matches, like, tag team versus tag team, women versus women, men's versus men.
I don't think we really need to rush into this conversation. NXT UK is the beginning of an expansion, and they're going to continue this expansion after this pandemic, is over, and once however much time is necessary for full crowds and everything else. They're planning on starting NXT brands in other countries,
Japan.
And you don't expand further by closing the original one just off of some shit that's going to go away after a while. You just hold tight and you put everything on pause until it's time to start again, and then you start again. We may see a lot of those workers that you were talking about come over to the U.S. and perform on NXT just to give them something to do. It also gives the NXT roster a deeper pool of talent. But in the meanwhile, it gives them something to do. And then when you can finally start the NXT UK back all over again, start it all over again. Have the third tournament or something. I don't know. What?
That would be a way to kick back off NXT UK instead of having a takeover. Just have a brand new tournament.
Who was the one that won the shot in the over-the-top rope battle royal for Walter the title?
Ilya Dragunov.
So have Dragunov versus Walter on NXT, and then settle that, settle everything that's going on between Walter and Finn Balor. You can do that on NXT, and then have no challenger when it comes time to reopen, and when you reopen, have the third tournament. Make it a big fucking deal. Make it a 2-night event. The first event, do it again in the Empress Ballroom or wherever. Do it in the O2 Arena if you can fill it. Like, be the first event to hold guests in that manner after sanctions are lifted or whatever is lifted over in the UK. Do you have any other topics you want to? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I can dig that. No, for sure.
That'd be sweet.
I don't know, I've just been seeing some stuff, and it's just, all right, we get shows from NXT every week, we get shows from Raw every week, we get shows from SmackDown every week, but we get highlight packages, and,
I heard there's a hidden gems one.
If you guys did not watch the Imperium thing from last week, it was pretty dope, I'm not going to lie, but, it's just the highlight package, basically.
Stuff we've already seen.
It was pretty cool with a couple interviews in it. Really about it.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Mick Doherty, who's in the chat room. Hey, Mick, if you want to join us on the big screen and talk to something, or talk to us about something.
Talk to something
about us. Drop in the chat room how we can get you on there. If you have Skype.
Sheriff of Rottingham over here.
Meanwhile, was there anything else you want to talk about, Colin?
Nah, man, not really. I'll hang out in the chat room, but I will free up the screen if Chris Mace wants to hop in or anybody else in the chat room. It's just us three. So.
But you don't have to free it up just yet. Nobody.
The ghost it.
You don't have to free it up just yet. Nobody's volunteered to. If you're in the chat room and you have our Skype, Chris.
We could touch on the. I don't know when you guys want to bring up the.
We're going to save that for last.
Del Rio will probably be last.
Give people a reason to watch the rest of the show. Because we still have more big news. We have Becky Lynch to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who is
there is.
Not only a better wrestler than
Ronda Rousey,
but she's also better at getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing I would like to bring up real quick, just because we are an NXT family here.
Cool.
I don't know if you guys have watched the Chronicle of Shayna Baszler yet, but it's fantastic.
Okay, well, I have to check that out.
Mick says he's too shy, folks, but thanks. Well, you don't have to come on the screen. You can call in. You could be just a voice. You can be a voice. May says he's ready. I'll add him on here.
Yeah, bring him in. Bring Mason. I'm going to grab a beverage real quick. I'll be right back. We're live. We're consummate professionals. Or whatever.
Consummate professionals.
I clicked on it. Oh, don't you just love it when it's live? My mouse just doesn't want to work at all.
This is the right mouse?
Now it's gone. Now it's just... Yeah, it's the right mouse.
Are you sure it's the right mouse?
Yeah, it's the one that acts crazy all the time. It's at Chris Mace. Doom, 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 go wop. Doom, 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 wop. So, Mr. Mace, Mr. Holiday.
Let's call him again. Hello.
Hello, mate. Stefan, do you recognize my background?
Is it from The Office?
Yes, it is.
It is.
You iPhone users with your crazy backgrounds.
And
ours would show up if it wasn't for all the white on the screen, but that's all right.
And now we're being joined by the holiday Chris Mace.
Yeah,
hey, Chris,
AKA
what's going on?
all the white on the screen.
That's a lot. That's a lot of white.
Look at that face. We love you, Chris. What's up? You bring a question to the show, man? What do you want to discuss?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I just can't see y'all.
It doesn't matter if you can see us or not. Talk.
Oh, I forgot to set up the camera for that. Holy shit. That is completely my bad. Colin, why didn't you mention that you couldn't see us, brother?
I knew I couldn't see y'all.
Oh, look, he's got an aftermatch background. Why don't we have an aftermatch background?
He's cooler than we are. Is that better? Can you see us now?
Yeah, I can see you guys now. It's cool, but I didn't care. You know what I mean? It didn't matter to me. You know.
And that's the other reason why the screen wasn't working. Look at that. Nice.
Yeah.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain behind it the whole time.
I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end.
Now I want to watch fucking Remember the Titans.
All right, Chris, lay it on us. What do you have to talk about?
So here's my thing with this whole Becky thing. I just have an interesting question. She didn't make this announcement. She's pregnant. Okay, she's leaving because she's going to be a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they made the wrong decision then by having her beat Shayna Baszler at WrestleMania?
If she knew then, well, no. Okay, there's no way she knew then because then she wouldn't have had the match.
Right.
So if she'd have known she was pregnant before WrestleMania, then she should have given her title up to Shayna Baszler. In this case,
I think this is a surprise pregnancy. I really do.
I think Asuka was a bad pick, obviously, because I didn't pick her. Asuka was a bad pick to win Money in the Bank, but if you're talking about Money in the Bank actually being for the women's title, who do you put the women's title on right now? Not somebody that's got a briefcase with an opportunity to chase it and be your foe for a while and then cash it in, unexpectedly. Who gets the title right now? Asuka's the one that's ready for it. Because nobody's ready for Asuka.
So there was one thing last night that I was really thrown off a little bit because, Asuka's been playing this heel character as of late. And when she said that she was a mother and she was hugging her and this and that, part of my brain was like, spray her with the fucking mist. You know what I mean? Like, just hit her with it one time. Like, but it didn't happen. It is what it is. But I was really kind of pulling for that in the back of my head. Like, are we really going to have this go home lucky, happy,
happy-go-lucky?
Is probably honestly pissed off probably that she's pregnant and is going to be gone for at least a year and a half.
At least a year.
That's why Seth Rollins was so stoic. It wasn't the fact that he had lost to Drew McIntyre. It's the fact that he's going to be a dad.
He knocked up the man. They're not only passing the title to Asuka, but they're also passing for now the title of head babyface.
Yep.
So she has been essentially turned. I thought it was an extremely heel thing to do for her to celebrate getting the title when Becky said she was leaving, because usually when somebody says they're leaving, they're injured. And then we find out that Becky's just pregnant, and then now it's like, now she's a babyface because she's happy for her. We know she's a babyface because in the babyface gathering they had backstage to congratulate Becky, Kairi Sane was there. And so Kairi Sane, if she is a babyface by proxy of that gathering, then Asuka is indefinitely a babyface by proxy of being tagged with her. So
I don't know. I think they had already teased a face turn for both of them with the whole Kairi Sane getting annihilated by Nia Jax those two weeks in a row.
Maybe.
So it was kind of already set in motion having them be like a face team because they'd already got enough chances at Bliss and Cross, and now it's time to build some other heel tag team. And I think that's why the Iconics got brought back as well. So.
Or maybe they were just burying Kairi Sane because fuck her.
Yeah.
She's tiny.
Collins just totally disappeared. He came back.
Kairi Sane now.
She looks too much like Riho.
Kairi Sane's contract is almost up, so it wouldn't shock me if she just fucking leaves.
Goes back to Shine.
Yeah.
I don't think. Well, that might be a better move for her. I don't think there's anything but a lateral move for her to have. No matter how high she gets pushed in another company, it's all going to be lateral from where she's at. She's not in a terrible spot. She was one half of the women's tag team champions for 6 months. Just because this is where she's at now doesn't mean this is where she's going to stay. We've seen that with plenty of people. It's just a matter of watching and waiting. I think Vince McMahon tends to reward honorable, loyal fuckers. If you stick around even through your bad times for your character, eventually there's going to be good times because I'm going to be like, well, fuck, you deserve it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Becky got knocked up. I guess because she's a cum slut. I mean, that's what the bracelet said, right?
Instead of burning it down, maybe Seth should have pulled it out.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Is it some sort of immaculate conception now? Mary Magdalene shit going on with the Messiah?
I mean, congratulations to him, though. It's cool.
I'm hoping that we find out the reason he's being so stoic and doesn't know what to say or do is because he had a vasectomy several years ago.
Oh, that'd be it.
Some fucked up shit there.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be crazy.
Weave it into the storyline.
Be like that meme. I'm pregnant. I had a vasectomy 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Or just I'm infertile, What if he's infertile? He's knowing he's been infertile since he was 18 and got tested. I don't know, something. Just something where we know for sure it's not his baby.
That's him piecing the puzzle together. It's like if the baby comes out black.
And then we just go back to the whole Lita angle where whose baby is it? And it's not my fault.
Oh, no.
Before Or, maybe she could be a prom night dumpster baby. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Prom night dumpster baby.
I have to wonder if this was just pure accidental pregnancy. She is at the top of her career.
Yeah, she's pretty much like the Hulk Hogan of the new WWE.
If she leaves for over a year to go have a baby and then be mom for a while before she goes out on the road, like, holy crap, her career is going to possibly just peter out.
Now, here's something I brought up to Ellen last night when I told her the news that Becky was pregnant. I was like, you would think that those superstars, those female superstars, would have the Mirena, or you know what I mean, something that is 99.99% of the time proven to work. That is put in once a year, or once for 2 years, 5 years, etc. Something like that. I'm surprised that they don't have that, because isn't it something messed up in their contract that they get pregnant under contract, or yada yada yada?
I don't know. I don't think that's legal.
I don't think there's a fetus clause in the WWE contract.
Yeah,
maybe it was planned.
You've had Reese get pregnant and other people get pregnant before.
Well, maybe it was planned. Maybe she decided to go do this when she's at the peak of her career. That way, if she's going to put any part of her career on pause, it should be now, because there was no higher for her to go.
Yeah.
She could have gone to NXT and won that title, but Charlotte Flair already did it, so,
That does just make her a copycat.
I guess this is the perfect time to do it.
Simpsons did it.
Meanwhile, fucking Seth Rollins gouged Rey Mysterio's eye out. Rey Mysterio has had a bad couple of days, man.
Thrown off of a roof and...
Holy shit.
Right, straight Uncle Phil, DJ Jazzy Jeff.
I was about to say, dude, I saw that GIF and I laughed my ass off.
Alright, so, if they turn this into an angle and it's not Seth Rollins' baby, whose baby do you think it is, Chris?
Oh, Lord. If it's going to be a black baby, then it's going to be Titus O'Neil's. That's my
You got a good one?
All serious, though, I would think it was maybe Buddy Murphy. If they did an angle, it could be Buddy Murphy, if they really did an angle with it.
That's genius.
That's exactly who I was thinking was Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, that is pure genius. Or Kevin Owens.
Fiend baby. The baby comes out like this.
He beat him twice at WrestleMania.
Beat him twice, then took his wife.
Jerry?
I said the Fiend baby.
Oh.
It'll just come out like this.
Well, he likes fucking around, doesn't he?
You know what would be the best, though?
He likes shitting where he eats. Or where he works, wherever. Okay, so let's move on.
The best would be Roman.
If we're gonna talk about this, we might as well talk about who should be Asuka's first number one contender towards Asuka. Should we have another Money in the Bank ladder match in the arena?
Honestly, I think it should be Shayna, to be honest with you, because Shayna made Asuka pass out in the chamber. I'm sure she wants redemption, but I'm sure we might get a little thing between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler before that, because if you remember at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, quote-unquote, after Shayna got thrown into the wall by Nia, we didn't see her the rest of the night. That was the last time we saw Shayna Baszler, was after she got choked thrown into the wall.
Maybe we get a number one contenders match between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
But that wouldn't make much sense to me, because that's two heels.
Yeah.
Grant Asuka is going to be a face in this whole thing,
right.
But I think it'd be if you're going to have a match like that, you might as well make either a four corners match or maybe just another ladder match.
Or who else from Raw are you going to throw in that match?
Heel-wise, at least, or whatever.
Well, you have to throw a couple faces in there just to flesh it out a little bit.
Alexa Bliss.
I wouldn't throw Alexa Bliss in there.
No, because they're busy with the Iconics, because the Iconics return.
Well, name any other female wrestler on Raw.
Liv Morgan.
Okay, there you go. Liv Morgan and
Ruby Riott.
Maybe they can bring up Io Shirai. You know.
Oh, Bianca Belair.
You could even Bianca.
Okay,
Bianca's there.
I stand corrected.
There's a couple that you can actually throw in there, and Bianca would be also put in a four quarters match like that because she could show off her strength against Nia Jax, but then also not win the match, just put herself over a little bit more. So people that haven't watched NXT don't know really how awesome Bianca actually is.
All right. Let's move on to the main event. Anybody in the chat room want to get in on this? No. Chris Willis, Noah Foster, either of you guys going on?
Noah Foster's doing his own thing, I'm pretty sure, right now.
Cool. So, Jerry, list off the charges / allegations that we have going against Alberto Del Rio. He was released from jail. He posted a $50,000 bail.
Mm-hmm.
So he is now out walking the streets.
Look for someone to beat.
He's not, or maybe he's in one of those fancy ass fucking cars he drives. But either way.
Okay, before I even go into this, I'm gonna ask you guys: do you think he's on something at this point? Because from seemingly
He's had been for years.
He has been.
Seemingly, this went on from May 3rd at 10 p.m. all the way till May 4th, 2 p.m.
Yeah, so that's either drugs or you're really sadistic and took a long nap in between. Okay, so to preface all of this, several weeks ago, I was on an episode of the No DQ review, and we posed the question, should WWE be thinking about rehiring Alberto Del Rio? Because he was getting a lot of press, and he was, making waves again. And I said, abso-fucking-lutely not. Do not. This guy has got a terrible reputation because he does terrible things. He gets drunk and does terrible things.
He's a terrible person.
And we're not talking about speculation. We're talking about actual videos you can watch, recorded by TMZ, where he's talking, you can tell this guy is a douche. And come to find out, a really terrible person. Okay, so there is a precedent in America where you're supposed to hold your verdict of guilty until a jury finds them guilty.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that there's probably a good chance that at least some of this, if not all of this, is true based off of history and based off of the details given. Most of these kind of weird lies do not contain this many specific weird details.
Yeah.
So Jerry, go ahead.
Well, first he accused her of cheating, and when she denied that, he struck her in the head a whole bunch of times. After that, he dressed her up and made her dance, and pretty much threatened to abandon her son in the middle of fucking nowhere if she didn't do it. After that, he tied her up with boxing straps, put a sock in her mouth, and assaulted her with various objects for hours on end.
How many hours, Jerry?
I think she had said 4.
16 and a half hours.
16 hours this whole thing went over. But at the same time, from what I saw, he only remembers putting his hand around her neck. And then after that,
I thought
she said she kind of
So after all of the assault,
yeah,
somewhere within that 16 and a half hours, he chokes her out and she doesn't remember anything after.
Yeah,
so everything that he was accused of doing during that time was not confined to 16 hours. That was confined to the time until she passed out.
Mm-hmm.
Holy balls.
She could have very well been out like a life for a whole bunch of other stuff.
All right, so Chris Mace. So out of the 4 of us that looks like the most likely to beat his wife.
Florida man!
I hope everybody out there knows that was just a joke between friends. He does not beat his wife often.
You probably beat my ass. What are you talking about?
That's the truth about it usually.
Send his ass on a holiday.
That's the truth about it. Usually a good man is more likely to get beat by his wife, but usually for a good reason.
Yeah, I don't know, the Alberto thing, we all know this motherfucker has had a crazy ass fucking history. We saw the shit he did with Paige, and I can't defend Paige because she was just as guilty as doing all the shit like he was, but he's had a fucking history. Any company he's been in, he's been a fucking douchebag or a fucking dick or fucking he went to Impact Wrestling and fucking talked about with WWE and fuck them and fuck this and all the fucking shit he's been doing, you can see on video how fucking hateful and rude he is to every motherfucker. So, of course, I can absolutely believe he would do some sinister and evil-ass bullshit like this shit that he's been accused of and been arrested for.
Colin, your thoughts on Alberto Del Rio and these charges, allegations?
Fuck you, Alberto. I've never been an Alberto Del Rio fan. I think the biggest fan I was of Alberto is when Ricardo?
Yeah.
Was that his name?
Rodriguez.
When he was doing his thing, because he was freaking hilarious. He was good. I never was a fan of his gimmick. I was never a fan of what he did in the ring. The best match I think I ever saw was the night that Dolph Ziggler beat his ass in front of everyone and cashed in Money in the Bank. Dude, like, I'm sorry, like, you can't, you cross that line with a female, and it's just like, no, man, like, all you're gonna do is just slit your throat and watch you bleed out, because it's just, I had a drunk dad as a kid, and I saw some shit, and I don't fuck with that, and Alberto is just one of those people who needs to crawl into a hole, light himself on fire, and die, in my opinion. And this poor woman, you know what I mean? Like, like, fuck that. And the fact that he was, like, gonna abandon a kid, an innocent kid, in the middle of nowhere, like, dude, I got kids. Fuck him. Like, fuck him.
Amen.
So, I don't want to get all legal eagle on this, but if these are all the things that he's being charged with, it's not just this story and one charge. There are so many charges here.
Yeah.
There is kidnapping, basically holding against one's will, sexual assault, probably in the first degree. He's probably looking at first degree rape charges.
Yeah, the wrongful imprisonment thing was.
Yeah, wrongful imprisonment. There we go. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jerry. Again, I am not a legal eagle. I just happen to know that some of these things are
He's
separate.
legal pigeon.
There's the assault. She was bruised all over, and there's also the terroristic threatening of her child as coercion to do what he wanted her to do when she wasn't tied up and unable to not do what he wanted her to do. Like, there is so many layers to this. I'm a little surprised that, given his celebrity and probably the kind of money that if he's smart with his money, that he still kind of has. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's poor now. But I feel like $50,000 isn't all that much for that many charges. Holy crap!
No, it isn't.
It's not. It's the thing. It's not.
And he's back out.
I feel like this. If it was any one of us that are regular, normal people, they're not celebrities, or don't have a bunch of money,
We'd still be in
and
jail.
we had did all these charges. They would give us $1 million bond, or they would give us no bond and threw away the damn key and left us there to rot until we went to court. That's the way I feel about it.
And there'd be no safe place to put you except the hole.
So, do you think, like, if anything, he may try to, like, plead insanity?
The only plea that makes sense, that is probably true anyway, is that he was crazy because he was whacked out on drugs. Because think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I alluded to this earlier. If this went on for 16 and a half hours, I'm sure there were times where she passed out being tied up. But he would have to either gone 16 and a half hours straight doing stuff to somebody. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're just lightly patting them on the butt cheek with a ping pong paddle. Eventually, you're going to get tired of it.
Not the worst feeling.
So either he went all 16 and a half hours, or at some point he stopped and he took a nap or a rest while she was tied up, incapable of moving, and then he came back in after he was rested. Or he was on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs powered him through 16 and a half hours of doing unspeakable things to somebody that trusted him.
Had a rest, had an Arby's sandwich, and went back to it. Like, no, he had to be jacked out of his mind.
Had to be a big Montana. Those things are awesome.
There are details in that are
Red Ranch.
that are so unnecessary for an accusation of sexual misconduct. There are so many details in there that scream, she didn't make that up. There was no need to make that up. All she had to say was the guy. I mean, she had the bruises. And probably, I mean, they're not stupid. You know, they do rape test kits, and they make sure that they're anyway.
Yeah,
I'm no doctor, but they know when a vagina has been
Destroyed.
sexed with
Mhm.
forcibly, as opposed to, you know, with foreplay and shit. So, fuck. Your thoughts, Joe?
Mick Doherty actually said in the break in the I was about to say break room.
In the break room, yeah.
Chat room. Next season's Dark Side of the Ring should have a show on Alberto. I highly agree with that at this point.
Dude, he would have a short series developed to him. It would be his early career, his WWE career, his post WWE career, and then the end of his career, which is probably what we're
right
talking
now.
about
This is what we're watching right
2020
here.
destroyed a lot of things, and a lot. Jerry Stiller died. I mean, shit. 2020 has taken so many things, and it looks like Alberto Del Rio's career is next.
It wouldn't shock me if he kills himself before the trial starts.
Dude, the things that he has been accused of doing to that woman are not things that you make it through a long time in prison without getting, like, destroyed yourself. Like, he's going to get hurt.
I'm not trying to rationalize
He's
this.
probably going to die in prison. If he
Well,
goes to prison,
if he goes
he's
to prison,
probably going to be dead for that shit he did.
The woman is still alive. Unfortunately, with a really great lawyer, he could go to prison, make it through 5, 10, 15 years, I don't know, but still get out before he dies, even without good behavior. Like, he's not going for murder. He's going for, like, torture and shit. They'll compound a lot of his sentencing, and he'll end up, you know, doing concurrent years and knocking things out together. And, I mean, the best you could hope for is probably something where he gets out when he's too old for it to make a damn. You know? He's too old to get a hard-on, so there's no reason for him to torture somebody sexually.
Well, last time I checked, he didn't really torture her with his penis either.
Now, to clarify all of this, these are allegations.
Yeah.
There are people out there smart enough to concoct a story so original that it sounds like it has to be true. We cannot discredit or discount the possibility that these are all accusations and nothing else. Some of the details in the accusations, such as the bruises and whatnot, I mean, forensically speaking, it would be hard to fake a lot of what they would base a case on. So if you see this case actually go to court, chances are good that the evidence is good. But again, these are all just allegations, and whether or not we personally think that he did them, maybe we're all coming to conclusions too early. People did that with Enzo.
I'm about to say, if they do a raid on his place with the and check the items that maybe like she actually saw him use to sexually assault her, her DNA is going to be on there. So
not everything's CSI, but they'll get what they need, and if they can't find it, then they're not going to take him to trial with no evidence.
Nope.
All right, so you want to touch on the Enzo thing? Did Enzo have accusations of him being a raper and a douchebag, hardcore, sexually and abusive before that ginger bitch accused him of quote unquote rape, which he got?
His prior record was all being a jerk in a personality sense, not in a taking advantage or doing deviant rapist acts against women.
But with Alberto, what have we seen? Guys, just alone with Paige.
Yeah, just the stuff that's documented and proven on video of this guy acting like a douchebag, like, and then. If you put credit to the stories that, you know, come out on the such and such dirt sheets or whatever, or in the wrestling news, like, come on, this guy, man, like, yeah, of course don't hire this guy back. Thank God they didn't. And if they did, thank God nobody knows about it. It was supposed to be a surprise, and they've already cut ties.
Because he would be fired in a heartbeat if this happened anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Even with the accusations, quote unquote, because that's what happened with Enzo.
Yep.
So.
Well, no, Enzo got fired because he knew the accusations were coming, and he didn't tell him about it.
Enzo didn't tell him about it, yes, but these accusations alone, they say right in their fucking handbook that they do not tolerate any domestic or anything, you know, aggravated assault, yada, yada, yada wise.
Yeah, that's what Rich Swann got fired for.
Exactly. and that was a bunch of bullshit. It never fucking happened.
His wife recanted the story, and then they wouldn't hire him back.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I would, think that if WWE is this PG, family-friendly, family promotion and product these days, that if he was under contract with them and all this shit blew up the way that it has, bye, girl.
I don't know. They've been dropping a lot of rated R verbiage lately for them to be PG.
But again, it goes back to the domestic abuse, the assault thing. It's
zero tolerance. Wow, we've got guests.
Yeah, so somebody's getting the crap kicked out of them over there.
Yeah. Speaking of rated R language.
Jeez.
Around the outside.
But my mentality on it is this. Del Rio pretty much comes from Mexican wrestling royalty. So he's one of those people that probably believes that he'll be able to get away with anything and everything just from who he was back in Mexico. So there's no telling what he did back there either.
And dude, the border's closed. He can't go back to Mexico.
He can't even go back home at this point. So there's really no running from this. And with all the allegations, and they seem kind of concrete, I really don't see him coming out a winner in this one at all.
I tell you what I hope, and not for Del Rio at all. Even though this would mean that she is incredibly fucked up, I would hope that this is all false, and that this girl did not have to go through what she says she had to go through. I would rather her be a little crazy and have made it all up than to have had to go through that. So I'm personally hoping this all comes out to be false, and Del Rio is cleared, because I don't want that to have had to actually happen. Like, fuck that. But somehow I feel like that's not going to be the case, and we all need to be prepared for that. Fuck. Yeah. I watch enough Criminal Minds. Like, I know that's all fake and shit, but
a lot of it's based on true stories though, and lots of true crimes. Just like Scrubs was based on a lot of true cases and whatnot.
Crazy. This beats out. I mean, oh my god. Even some of the people that have they murdered someone.
Yep.
But dude, he didn't even murder this chick, and it's already like, fuck you, Del Rio, man.
All right.
All
Let's end on a happier note though.
You have a happy note?
Yeah, let's go with a happy note.
Some good news, folks.
We're gonna end this on the male Money in the Bank winner, Otis. So the dude has had probably one of the best years ever for a fat guy in WWE. Okay,
listen. All things considered, he's had one of the best years ever for anybody.
Yes.
Of any stature, of any looks quality. He. I don't care if you're a 9.5 and you've already been champ before. Winning Money in the Bank is like the thing, because not only does it basically guarantee, especially if you're a baby, but basically guarantee you a championship, but it gives you that Money in the Bank clout status between winning it and cashing it in. That's a good year for anybody.
You think he'll use it as a lunchbox? Just start carrying food out there,
baby. Put a steak in it.
But my question is, there's been rumblings. He's even said it, that he's going to cash in and win the tag belts with Tucker. Do you actually see that going down, or you see some sort of swerve in the storyline and something else happening? That you see him maybe even giving the briefcase to Mandy to get a title, give her a women's title shot?
No.
Since we don't,
I see Tucker turning on Otis to try to get that briefcase. I see him getting pissed off because now Otis has gotten the girl with Mandy. He's been on such a roll. He got the Money in the Bank briefcase that nobody expected him really to get. So now he's got all this momentum, and his partner's just sitting there like the lackey, like going, okay, well, fine, fuck this shit. And then he turns on him. Maybe they challenge for the tag titles, and then he turns on him during the match, and then that sets up a feud for that briefcase.
I mean, that could happen, but I'm hoping that they cash in on the tag titles because it has not been seen with Money in the Bank. Because I mean, yes, it says a world title shot, but they are the world tag team champions. So
there is
whatever. But on that note, I gotta go. I got a baby waking up. I got the monitor like right here. So follow me on Twitter and all that stuff. You guys know my plugs. So I gotta go. Much love to you guys. Peace out and Maruchan chicken ramen forever, bitches.
Cleaver's cut down.
Bye, Colin. So yeah, follow him at Colin or the Cleaver Colin Andrews, spaces between all words on YouTube, and then you can find everything else after that, I think. So okay, what were you talking about? So, Otis.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Tucker on the show in a while. Like,
and
I don't think
it was a losing effort against Dolph Ziggler.
I don't think anybody in the back really gives a fuck about Tucker. Otis has been the standout of this tag team ever since they started. This would be the point to where you just forget that Tucker exists and Otis just goes on with Mandy. And I mean, they've been known to write things off and not explain where they went before, and do it now. Just let him go. Give him one of those happy for your parting, wish you good luck in your future endeavors, blah 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 bullshit. Give him that, let him go, take off with Otis. And there's a reason you haven't seen the Money in the Bank briefcase being cashed in on tag team titles, because that is, and if you'll pardon my phrasing here, fucking retarded. That's as dumb as cashing it in on the mid-card title.
Or the NXT Championship.
There is a slight bit of offness about Charlotte Flair cashing in her Money in the Bank, or not, or her WrestleMania, not WrestleMania, Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
God damn. Royal Rumble win on NXT Championship gold, but I'll allow it because it's still world champion. I would figure somebody with the briefcase might want to go after the NXT champion. It's still a world championship. But a mid-card title or a tag team championship, fuck that. That's dumb.
That's what I was kind of thinking about, though. What if we have a situation where, like, Otis is really gung-ho about making it for the tag titles, but Mandy gets in his ear that he should really go for the Intercontinental belt or the U.S. title?
No, he should go for the world championship.
He really should, but she'll have him aiming low. But if anything, I'm saying he's going to cut Tucker out of it completely.
Yeah, I feel like going forward, Tucker's going to get cut out of this completely.
Yeah, but I'm saying
he was meant to get cut out of this completely.
But she'll go all Yoko with it and kind of break up the team.
So Mandy will turn heel in the midst of, I don't know. She just turned face. She's so fun to watch.
She's fun to watch, yeah.
As a face, I mean, like, just
she's fun to watch all over.
Anyway.
Not just her face.
Some of y'all know what I mean. As a baby face, she takes a lot of
I know what you mean. I was making funny jokes.
And then the cameras, sometimes they're really great. Anyway. I think it was interesting how Otis won. I don't think Otis was the right person for the Money in the Bank briefcase. I think it's just fine. Like, if they tell a good story here, sure, fine, why not? But I think there were other people in that match that deserved it instead of deserving to be thrown off the fucking roof.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my thoughts. Aleister Black. Anyway, any final thoughts on Otis and the Money in the Bank briefcase?
Mm-hmm.
Chris?
It's going to be interesting because if he does cash it in, who's he going to cash it in on? Is he going to cash it on Drew McIntyre? Is he going to cash it on the Monster Man Braun Strowman? That's going to be the interesting idea because everybody's pretty much a babyface in this scenario. Normally the Money in the Bank is best when it's a heel who has it because then they're just going to do whatever the fuck they want to. It's like, okay, who does he cash it in against? Which champion should he go after? Or should he go after the NXT World Championship and do something completely different that hasn't been done before?
Or have somebody coerce him into putting the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line in a match and winning it from him. There's always that possibility. We've seen it happen.
Who'd be the one to challenge him for it? Would it be Dolph Ziggler again?
I really, as long as it's a good story, I don't care who it is. But if it needs to be a heel, I guess, right? Like, so Dolph Ziggler would be good.
And it wouldn't be the first time he's pulled that shit out.
And it's on SmackDown, so it would have to be a SmackDown guy. So I can't just default to Aleister Black again. So yeah, maybe Dolph Ziggler. I mean, honestly, for what the guy's been through, like, I think he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's your show, man. You got an outro?
No, I don't.
Do it on the fly, man. You can do it. I believe in you.
What do you mean, like the whole wrap-up thing?
Yeah, you got to send it to him first, some kind of segue.
Okay.
And then you got to take it over, tell him, how to get a hold of us.
Yeah, so that's the end of our general discussion for the evening. Thank you for joining us, a couple people in the chat room or whoever's watching this afterwards. Join us on tomorrow night where we'll have What's NXT shortly after NXT goes off the air around 10:15 Eastern.
Usually.
And we're going to be talking how I'm totally right and Tim Thatcher is the one to attack Finn Balor and cost him and Matt Riddle dropped the belts to Imperium.
Or Walter's in the States.
Which
it was Walter the whole time.
Which would be great too, but at the same time, that's highly unlikely at this point because I think we would have seen him by now.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
Got everybody else.
But join us here for that, and then possibly still one on Thursday. We're not sure yet. There's Chris Willis told me there's a Hidden Gems thing that's got NXT UK matches that have not been aired.
Oh.
So we may want to check that out.
Yeah, I'll do a review of matches I haven't seen before.
Yeah, and if that's the case, we'll watch that, and then we'll go ahead and review that with somebody on the screen. In the meantime, on the screen right now, we have the Holiday Chris Mace, and he's got his own YouTube channel and all this other jazz. So take it away, Chris.
If you want to follow me, go to my YouTube channel, The Holiday Christopher Mace. Sorry there hasn't been as much content, so I'll just make this announcement here since I figured what better announcement to make it here than on y'all show where I started from the whole beginning. But I am going to be a father again, so therefore...
Mazel tov!
That's going to be fun and exciting again. So I've had a little bit of a break on there, but I'm going to be getting back in the rhythm of the NWA Power Reviews here soon since that show returned. But if you want to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you can follow me at Christopher Mace. And that's pretty much just it. Just have fun talking about wrestling. I'm glad I got to be able to jump on here with y'all tonight.
And we're glad to have you on here. And if you want to be on here on the TV with Chris and talk to us, just because we're here, it's better than talking to yourself. First off, you leave a comment down in the comment section, and leave your information. We'll contact you that way, or you can contact this man over here, the brain who's Aftermatch Wrestling is his brainchild.
My brainchild.
Yes, his brainchild.
Yeah, you can find me at Stefan Osborne, StefanRosborne on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram at osborne.stefan. And on Facebook, on Armbar or Aftermatch. Do not add me on Facebook. I won't add you, and in fact, I will delete you from the group.
Yep.
I'm telling you now, don't add me on Facebook.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where we do not like spoilers, and if you try to add him, it won't happen. And if he tells me that you try to add him, I will make sure you're out.
Really, what it is that Facebook to me is kind of like the pure social network. It's the one that's all my friends and my memes and all of that. Whereas Twitter is kind of like the wrestling, the YouTube business social media platform. Because I only use Twitter for promoting this. Like my handle is my wrestling nickname, wrestling analyst.
Yeah.
But
we also have a Twitter page, or actually an Instagram page, Aftermatch_wrestling, and Twitter we have Aftermatch Rest, where we take the ling out of wrestling,
whatever the fuck that means.
You can also find me on the Aftermatch Wrestling Facebook group page, which I run, and then Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR, exclamation
point.
Yep. I even got a shirt made up now, and I'm going to start plugging that relatively soon. Like at the end of the month, I'm supposed to get it.
That wasn't a plug?
No, because I didn't say to go to Teespring and find the Greg Cherry brand, and you get your own general shirt there.
So, yeah, if you'd like to help our channel,
yes,
and you have a few seconds, do us a favor. Anybody got a good story while they do all these things? First of all, if you like the video, click the like button. That's over here. underneath me, down here somewhere.
Over there.
Underneath Jerry, over there is a subscribe button. Like, if you like all of our videos, you should have been subscribed already, but why not take the time to go ahead and do it right meow. And then in between there, this is like, I think most people's phones. Like, in between there is a share button. Help us grow. Share us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or if you have a YouTube page, share us on there. Just share it. No comment necessary. It takes like 3.5 seconds, at least for my phone. I don't know if that's quick or not. Yours is probably quicker. Anyway, yeah, just share us on your social media, because people might watch and then be like, hey, I like watching wrestling. What are these guys about?
I'm going to tell you this right now, dude. I really like this fire background.
Yeah, when it shows up, the problem is when the TV is on something that's like stark white, for some reason the background, the camera picks it up as gray instead of green, and then it doesn't do the... Yeah, it's this whole big thing.
It looks awesome, though.
So yeah, if you want to watch us when we go live, there's a bell icon over there. That'll tell your phone to tell you when we go live, and you can tune in at those various odd times.
Right now, I'm off of work, and we're doing our shows right after the broadcast of NXT. So
we're probably going to go back to mornings here soon, though. So stay tuned for that.
Within the next couple weeks, it looks like.
And if you have financial means and want to help the channel, we are on Patreon at Stefan R. Osborne. Just help us pay for all this shit. Like,
or drop us a super chat in here.
Always trying to improve the show. If you have any comments that way, send it down below. If you don't like the video, click the thumbs down. Fuck it, man. Like, be honest.
Yeah, tell us where we can improve, because that is where we get most of our shit from.
Put a thumbs down, but go down into the comments and tell us what you didn't like, and maybe it's something that we honestly can take out of the show, because we don't care about it.
It's probably me.
I can't get rid of Jerry. Can't get rid of Jerry.
He's tried.
I've tried to do this show on my own, and it's awful.
Needs a second banana there.
A horrible guest.
Nobody wants to see that.
No.
So we've been on for like an hour almost, 55 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say about that.
Nothing else to plug.
Nope.
Take us home, man.
All right. For the Wizard, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne. For the Holiday, Christopher Mason. I am the General, Jerry Slaughter. Thank you for joining us, and have a terrific evening.
Have a good night, y'all.
I throw things! Threw it on the ground!